In some places, it's completely normal. In other places, it's considered bizarre. And I believe that in North America, it's become deeply embedded in the culture. This controversial and divisive topic is tipping or giving tips. The rules around tipping are constantly changing. More and more places are requesting customers to choose the percentage regarding tipping, and it's reached a point that in many places, to not give a tip is seen as virtually a disgrace. If I put it succinctly, we've reached a tipping point. Let's talk about it. In this episode of Martin Talks, I'm going to share what I feel about it and my standpoint on the issue. I'm not even going to pretend to be neutral. I do not support tipping. There, you see, now you know. I do believe that tipping should be included in the price, and I also believe it's going to be better for the payer and the receiver. And you will notice my eyes are often looking to the side. I actually have notes over here. On this phone, I find a teleprompter doesn't work so well with me, and I'm not in denial that I have notes over here on the side, which I prepared ahead of time. Anyway, and that amount included in the tip should be approximately what the tips are. So if I use simple numbers, let's say a bill for a whole bunch of people comes to $100, and the tipper, if I use that name, is going to tip $15, 15%, instead of $100 and a $15 tip, the person pays $115, and that includes the tipping. So it averages out the same. And I'm going to give my reasons. First of all, why it's better for the customer. As I mentioned a second ago, that I'd rather pay that $115. You know where you stand. There's no guessing, no math. There's clarity how much you're paying if the tip's included. It's easier to know what you're spending. And I'm going to make up a fun example. Let's say you're going to purchase something that includes delivery, okay? And there's various options to choose from. One option, it's $20 with free delivery. Another option, it's the product is $15, but there's a $5 delivery fee. And another option is the product is $15, there's a $2 delivery fee, and another $3 service charge. All these three options are really the same thing. It's $20 for product, delivery, and any other fees along the way. If they just said it's $20 for everything, you know where you stand. One more example, if I'm making a purchase of something and they say to me it's $40 plus extras, plus tax, plus this, or they say to me it's $70 including everything, I prefer just $70 including everything. I know where I stand. And if I can deviate from the topic slightly, because this is about tipping, for this reason, I think the customer would also be happier if tax is included in the price. If someone quotes me, this is, for example, $45.71, including tax, tip, shipping, this cost, that, ... everything included in that, I know exactly what I will be spending. So here's something else. That awkward moment with that paying terminal, okay? And the customer has to choose what's the right percentage, and the server is right there watching. That does give pressure, and the customer has to guess what percentage to give while being watched. That, I think, does put some sort of underlying pressure on the customer. And another issue with giving tips is that very often the consumer or customer genuinely doesn't know how much to tip, especially if it's foreigners. What's the right amount to give? It's something you've never done before, or sometimes you don't know where tips are expected and where they're not expected. As I said, especially foreigners in a new place. If that tip is included in the price, that issue is completely taken care of. And now to get on to the server. And do you remember that guilt-inducing terminal that silently judges the customer? Incredibly, I think not only is it awkward for the customer, but I think it's awkward for the server as well. If I'm the server, I would feel strange giving that person that terminal and they're there deciding what tip to give while I'm standing right there. I think it's equal to both of them. The second that terminal spins around to the customer, that creates a tense, invisible undertone. But if the tip's included in the price, that tension is gone. And not just that, with the tips included, the server doesn't have to worry about people who don't tip. It has happened. You have a huge number of people at a restaurant, let's say, and they decide not to tip. The server does not have that risk if the tip is included, or arguably some people who don't tip enough, that can be subjective. That issue is taken care of as well. And the server also does not lose income if the food is delayed or any issue that's not their fault, or if there's some misunderstanding and the customer thinks it's the server's fault and doesn't tip or gives a small tip. The server or worker no longer needs to worry about that issue either. And if the tip is included, the income is more stable for the worker or server, especially students or part-time workers, where for their needs, consistency is important. And so now the pay no longer depends on customers' moods or something out of their control. And in the long run, the good service will stand out. There'll be good customer reviews, and management will be aware who are the best servers and which service customers are happy with. And something else, there are potential ethical risks, bigger issues, and this affects customer, staff, management, everyone. I don't know how often it's happened, but it can be it can happen sometimes, and that having tipping can manifest in unethical behavior. For example, a customer can treat a tip like a bribe. They hope to receive something that's not really part of the rules, or like a server gives them something for free, or some service for free that's not part of the policy, and the customer gives a tip for that to make the server bend the rules. Or people might increase or decrease the tip based on race, religion, appearance, or any reason that's got nothing to do with the service. And if so, it's not just unfair, but harmful. And it's not just the customer, it might be the worker or server as well. The server might give bad service here, and excellent service there, because he thinks that person won't tip, or that person's a great tipper. All the more reason for me to give that one better service and not care about that one. Okay? And with all these scenarios, fairness is pushed aside. The money will be based more on assumptions and judgment calls. And that's not how good service should work. For these reasons, I myself feel much more at ease if tipping is included. And I do not want to deny the server money they deserve. In fact, that's why I say it should be included in the price. And with all those reasons, if it's included in the price, it's better for that person as well as me if the tip is included. Finally, I know that tipping is a sensitive issue, and of course I don't expect every person to agree with me, but I do believe in a clear, honest price, fair wage behind the scenes. That makes life easier for everyone. No awkward moments, no second guessing, no guilt, just respect, transparency, and we hope good service. But hey, that's my take. What do you think? Have you ever felt uncomfortable at tipping terminals on either side of that terminal? Do you think tipping plays an important role? Let me know in the comments. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching Martin Talks. See you next time. I encourage you to subscribe. And remember, I have 3 YouTube channels. I encourage you to subscribe to all of them. As always, subscription is free. Not just leave a comment, give me a tip. I'm only kidding. Thank you for watching.